Kucinich believes the USA is now heading towards bankruptcy, and that would make every citizen sick. There's no way America can afford another multi-trillion-dollar entitlement. So health care reform, yes, but it has to be smaller and more marketplace-driven. And that's the memo. Now for the top story tonight, reaction. Joining us from Washington, Congressman Dennis Kucinich and Congresswoman Michele Bachmann. Congresswoman, what was the headline for you today?
Well, I think the takeaway today, Bill, is that we accomplished more at the White House Beer Summit than we accomplished today at the White House Healthcare Summit. I think a lot of people were frustrated. They didn't see a lot happen.
Okay, but let's be fair. The American people, if you could slog through this, and it's my job to do it so the viewers don't have to, did see a civil discussion. They did see a lot of points put on the table by both sides. I thought it was fair and balanced. I thought the president did a good job moderating. Did you feel the same way, Congresswoman?
Well, clearly this was the president's opportunity and the president's show, so to speak. He was able to control the conversation. He was able to cut off participants, and he was able to have the last word at every turn. So clearly this was his opportunity.
Did you see him do anything unfair when you say cut off? Did you see him do anything like I do, interrupt in a boorish manner?
No, I'm not saying that he was boorish, but certainly he was able to control the conversation. It wasn't possible for participants to be able to come back and refute what he had said because he moved on to the next person. But the more important point is that there are things that we can do that are fairly simple. Clearly, his bill is so complicated, it's unreadable. Nobody understands what it's about. You've always said from the beginning, Bill, the folks have to have something that is straightforward. I would agree. And the most straightforward thing that we could do is something you said that Republicans that Democrats have said, which is that the insurance companies need to give here too, and I would agree. And I think what we need to do is take the walls down in every state so that the folks can buy
well, there's no doubt about that. That's a
anywhere.
Republican tenet, and the factor supports that. Okay, what was the headline for you, Congressman Kucinich?
Well, I have to qualify it by saying that from 2 to 5 I was chairing the hearing, so I didn't see the last 3 hours. But what I did see early on, and I think it's important for the American people to know, is that Democrats and Republicans alike will at least sit down and have a civil discussion about what is, inarguably one of the greatest issues of our time. And I think that's important for people to know, that we do find ways to get along and to disagree without being disagreeable. That can happen here. It's important to know that.
I think psychologically that was a good thing today, but you got to admit it was boring as sand, was it not?
Well, I'm not really bored about health care.
No, but you're a wonk. You're a wonk guy, okay? I mean, come on.
You're the first person to ever call me that.
Well, but I'm the smartest person you know. Go ahead.
Bill, 1 out of every $3 goes to the for-profit system. Healthcare, no, 1 out of every $6 in our economy goes to healthcare. It's in terms of our GDP. But 1 out of every $3 goes for the activities of corporate profits, stock options, executive salaries, advertising, marketing, the cost of paperwork, 15 to 30% in the private sector. The model that I propose, totally different than what Democrats and Republicans are talking about.
But I can't get into that tonight because I got to
Medicare for all, single payer.
I got to get into who won and what do you think is going to happen. All right, Congresswoman, make a prediction. We're going to have polls come out starting on Monday, maybe even snap polls tomorrow, about what the American people, who won. You know, this is what Americans do. Who won? We always do it. No matter what, it's Olympics, competition, Super Bowl, politics. So I know you're a Republican. You're probably going to say the GOP won. But make a prediction on the polls. What are the folks going to say?
Well, to be honest, I really think that frustration won, because I think anyone who sat through this 6-hour marathon today was inexorably frustrated by the end of all this, because it was clear the president had his heels dug in. The Republicans kept trying to make their point. There was really virtually no coming together, and what the public is really tired of this. This has gone on for a very long time.
So you didn't see any bend at all on Barack Obama's part? He didn't bend at all?
No. Well, I didn't see that he was willing to come together to come together on terms that we agree, because ultimately he was working off of his bill. Remember, over a year has been spent behind closed doors to put his bill together. He's not coming off that bill.
No, but
if he doesn't come off that
if he
bill,
wants
what
it
can
to be
Republicans
passed,
do?
if he wants it to be passed in the House, particularly Congressman Kucinich, he's going to have to give somewhat. He's going to have to come somewhat and come up with something different, or it's not going to pass.
Well,
That's not happening.
I mean, the question that you just raised, or the observation you just made, Bill, is a valid one, and that is that how do you get a bill passed if you don't find a way of addressing all, many of the concerns people have? I mean, for my part, when the president took the public option out of the bill, I don't see any way I can support it.
So you're going to
On the
vote
other
against
hand,
it, and I'm sure Congresswoman Bachmann's going to vote against it. We had a bunch of
for
blue
different
dog
reasons.
Democrats on who were going to vote against. They say they're going to vote against
for
it.
different reasons. But keep in mind,
No,
though,
for
that the
different
president
reasons.
did
Absolutely.
introduce his bill before the summit. So
All right.
if he had called the summit and then introduced the
Yeah,
bill,
we'll
it may
see.
have
We'll
been
see
the
what
product
comes
the
out of
summit.
it. But I want to, as it stands now, this pass, Congresswoman Bachmann, real quick. Does it pass? Yes or no?
No,
Does it
absolutely
pass,
not.
Congressman Kucinich? Yes or no?
I think that's a great deal of difficulty.
All right. Thanks for you both. Great debate. We appreciate